as an incredibly high-profile attorney, you're on TV a lot, and the big critique that's been launched against you typically is that you are looking for attention, that you're looking for cameras. What role should publicity play in judicial proceedings? Because obviously, when you are attempting to mobilize public opinion in a particular case, and this does make a difference, you need the cameras there. So in an ideal world, what role would media play? And in the real world, what role does the media play?
Okay, well, it's not about publicity at all. It's about coverage of important issues of our time, issues that are of public interest or public importance or both. And also, I'm not a person who believes that women and minorities should suffer in silence. I believe that what they are suffering, the wrongs against them, the injustices against them, in certain cases, if they achieve the goals of the client or can help to achieve those goals, should be made public. So yes, I know that certain people who are in power would not like those who are not in power to speak out about the wrongs that have been inflicted on them. But I do think it's important for elected officials and for members of the public to know, because we need to establish and create a climate of opinion that is favorable to change. And I do believe what Gandhi said, that we must be the change we wish to see in the world. And so my clients often want to speak truth to power. And by speaking to truth to power, they are also not only empowering themselves, but they're empowering many others who are in similar situations to speak out. So, for example, in the Jeffrey Epstein case, where I represent a number of accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, and we have filed, to date, 3 lawsuits for our clients who were underage when they alleged that they were sexually abused and sexually trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. So when they want to speak out, they should have that right to speak out. And that also encourages others just to know what their rights are, perhaps to assert their rights, perhaps to vindicate their rights in courts of law. So no, they shouldn't have to be silenced. The victims of Harvey Weinstein, if they can prove that they are victims, they can speak their truth, and they should be able to speak out. And we have, with a number of persons who allege they are victims of Harvey Weinstein. By the way, the trial is starting. The criminal trial, January 6th. I represent one of the 2 victims for whom charges have been filed by the Manhattan DA's office. And I also represent another witness in the case, Annabella Shora, who will testify on the issue of sexually predatory conduct. So, yeah, I think that they should be able to make known what they allege has happened to them. Likewise, in the case of R. Kelly, where I also represent a number of accusers, and I represent the majority of the persons who are alleged to be victims in the criminal case now pending against him in New York, brought by the United States Justice Department for the Eastern District of New York. And they've been very brave. And many of those women, some of whom are African American, were ignored for a long time. I don't know if it was because they were African American, perhaps. But yes, they have their right to speak truth to power. In this case, power is a powerful celebrity, R. Kelly. Just like I represented 33 accusers of Bill Cosby, he's now where he belongs, convicted of indecent sexual assault against Andrea Constant, and he is now classified as a sexually violent predator. Here you've got a celebrity who was, had a maybe he had the highest friendly public rating, Q rating, they call it in television, when he was doing his show in the 90s. And yet now, he says he's a political prisoner. I said he's not Nelson Mandela. He's just a convicted felon, a convicted sexual predator. So, but, it takes courage to speak out to a powerful figure like Bill Cosby or R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, but even now, when there's an investigation of whether anyone conspired with Mr. Epstein to sexually traffic underage girls, and also in reference to Mr. Weinstein, who was a very powerful producer in Hollywood. But this is what's happening, and women are becoming empowered. They're equalizing the power, and that's important. So now, what we've done now in this Me Too era, which is a form of the reckoning, is, instead of the victims waking up in fear, now often the men who have hurt them every day wake up and like, oh my God, is this the day where the women I've hurt in the past are going to speak out and my career is going to be ruined or in shambles. Good. Let them be fearful of that. Maybe they should reconsider in the future, do they want to continue hurting women? And now maybe they better think twice about it because there can be serious consequences.
Thank you for tuning into The Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.